In this video, I'm going to be reviewing both of the Lion King sequels. Are they any good? Keep watching this video to find out my thoughts on them. Without further ado, let's start with Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Contrary to when I reviewed the Aladdin sequels last week, the animation in Lion King 2 Simba's Pride actually isn't complete crap. I was expecting it to. These Disney sequels don't have the greatest of reputations on the animation front, or any front for that matter. The opening song screams Circle of Life, but it actually goes kind of hard. Obviously, it is a knockoff of Circle of Life, but it was poppin' low-key. The We Are One song sounds like the guy just recorded it in his house. Like, the sound design was a little bit strange. Most of the songs in this repeat the same beats as the original very often. Be Prepared, Circle of Life, Can You Feel the Love Tonight all have similar versions of themselves, but they're all worse versions. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It starts off pretty much the same as the original, but then diverts into a movie that doesn't really know what to do with itself. Originally, the evil lions knew they couldn't just take over the Pride Lands with brute force. They established this multiple times, but eventually, after the whole undercover plan doesn't work, they just say screw it and do it anyway. Simba is super out of character in this one. He doesn't really give Kovu a chance to explain himself. I feel like he'd be more forgiving of him. Well, Kovu was actually stupid for thinking he did anything wrong in the first place. It was a cliche, it was all a misunderstanding moment that we see a lot in Disney movies. So Kovu and Kiara have a Can You Feel the Love Tonight kind of song, but why didn't they just sing it themselves? It's just voiceover, and every other character, not only in this movie but in the previous movie, sing the songs themselves and not just like audio background noise. I love how lame the final fight is. There's only like 10 lions on each side. It's almost as if like the other lions forgot to ready up in the lobby or something. The moment I knew these evil lions weren't competent in anything is when Timon almost scared them into thinking that he was gonna shoot him with Pumbaa's tail.
Don't anybody move! This thing's loaded. I'll let you have it.
The final fight has such a boring background in comparison to the first movie. It's just like a rainy day in an open field. In the end, Mufasa speaks to Simba through the sky or whatever and says,
"Well done, my son."
When did he have anything to do with this movie? It felt contrived, and Simba didn't really earn anything or do anything to get a pat on the back from Dad. To be honest though, this one wasn't too bad. Some of the music I actually enjoyed, and it's not a complete rip-off of the first movie. Of course, I would never watch it again, but it's not completely horrendous. 4 out of 10 I think is a passable score, at least to the standard of these Disney sequels. But now we move on to the actual good stuff. Lion King 1.5. The main appeal of the movie is this. Timon and Pumbaa are able to actually break the fourth wall and actually watch the movie themselves. If you easily get pissed off at like continuity stuff, this movie is not for you. I don't think anyone cares about the Lion King cinematic universe continuity anyway. The whole character arc of Timon in this movie is actually taken seriously and not all played off for jokes, which is what tends to happen with these spin-off, side character, comic relief kind of movies. I'm looking at you, Cars 2. So Rafiki is actually the one that taught Timon and Pumbaa the Hakuna Matata philosophy, which is actually like kind of interesting, I guess. The movie is actually really meta and fourth wall breaking throughout the entire movie, not just the beginning or the end, which actually adds an interesting charm to it. I must admit, this movie requires an incredible amount of suspension of disbelief from the audience. Get this, the reason why all the animals in the beginning of the first movie bow is not because Simba is lifted up and they want to honor him or whatever. It's because Pumbaa farted. That's it. He farted, and they were just like, "Oh, let me lay down."
I could really use a rest stop. Don't worry, you'll get your second wind. Oh, I got a really bad feeling. It'll pass. Trust me, it'll pass. Look, the line's bowing. Ooh, we better bow too. Look, sire, how they kneel before the royal sun.
Bruh.
At this point, I started to realize this was just a glorified recap of the original movie. Once they had found Simba, the whole movie was only halfway over, and I was wondering what is going to be next. Like, what is the rest of this movie? This film is completely useless though, because it provides more depth to the Timon and Pumbaa relationship, while also reliving some of the original's best moments from a fresh new perspective. Timon reuniting with this family at the end of this movie, like, doesn't make sense. Why would Timon's mom be looking for him, especially in the one place where danger is most prevalent? It felt like a forced concept to just add a thematic through line throughout the whole movie and put a little bow on top. Once Timon left home and his mother, that should have been the last time we should have seen any of the meerkats. I know I tend to talk about the animation changes to these Disney sequels a lot, but also it's the most notable differences between the sequels and the originals. Here, some footage is used from the original movie to showcase like how stuff was happening at the same time, and I couldn't genuinely tell which was from the original and which was new footage, which is a good thing considering that this is a Disney sequel and there's a lower budget, and I couldn't tell that. All that to say, I genuinely loved Timon's character even more after this movie, especially Timon and Pumbaa's relationship. All in all, I was actually pretty surprised by this one, and this might be something I might rewatch every now and then. I'll score it a 6.5 out of 10. Not bad at all. That's gonna wrap up the video, guys. If you want to see last week's video where I reviewed the Aladdin sequels, that'll be on the left. More reviews like this are in the description, and subscribe to the right to stay tuned for a new video like this. This video was incredibly fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time.